before we are going to start and think even of a strategy, let us go back to the very reason why we are offering our degree programs. Why are you offering medtech? Why are you offering nursing? Why are we offering teacher ed? Why are we offering our graduate school program? So we need to, of course, go back to our course learning outcomes. So which means our journey with outcomes-based education. We call it in St. Louis University as one beautiful experience. Kailangan klaro pa rin sa atin. So balikan ninyo, ano ba ang misyon, ano ang vision ng uh, Immaculate Conception, UIC. Dahil kahit sa Pasko, hindi pwedeng dahil sa flexible learning na tayo na bago na ang ating mission. We should still continue with our key results areas, with our objectives in our strategic plan. Only we need to re-strategize. So what do our students, what are we expecting them to be able to demonstrate at the end of finish or at the end of the program, okay, civil engineering or whatsoever. So I know that you're familiar with this framework, na kailangan pa rin in place yan, hindi pwedeng mawala. So kapag ka ikaw ay magtuturo in a specific course, you should always think of what is the plan. So which means, ang course syllabus, ang core pa rin dito. At ang module, ang core sa course syllabus. Hindi tama po yung procedure na nauna ang module, hindi ipinagbase sa syllabus. At ang syllabus ay nag-deviate, digressing from the framework. Nakalimutan niya na siya ay nasa UIC, and it's a Catholic institution, okay? And so that there are activities or strategies that must be anchored to the institutional learning outcomes. So ito po yun. Hindi pwedeng lumis tayo dahil yan ay hindi naaayon sa vision mission. Kaya nga pag nag-employ po tayo, di ba, when we do interview our faculty applicants, pinapaalam natin sa kanila. So one of the things that they should value is to value the faith, okay? And to participate in some of the Christian formation activities that we do, of course, in the university. Okay, so specifically, balikan lang po natin yung framework na ito. So alam natin na kapag ka ikaw gumagawa, nag-iisip ng strategy, nag-iisip ng technological tool, ito bang YouTube na ito ipapanood ko sa aking mga estudyante, or baka it's against the it's a digression from what is expected. Okay? Katulad po ng ito technological tool. There was this information na nakarating sa office. Nakalagay doon sa module ng isa sa mga subject dito sa Stella na that I'm supervising according to our quality assurance team. Please like and subscribe. Okay? So, itong mga faculty, di gumawa sila ng sarili nilang mga YouTube, okay, accounts. Tapos, yung mga estudyante, yun ang kanilang pinapanood in some of the demonstrations. Pero nakalagay doon daw sa instruction na please, parang nakalagay doon, please click like and subscribe. Ganun. Sabi ko doon sa, alam mo ano ba ang learning outcome na dapat na mame-measure sa liking and subscription na yan, na titingnan talaga ng teacher kung naka-like and subscribe. So what's the intent of the teacher? So yun ang iti-check mo, sabi ko dun sa quality assurance. Pero syempre, at the back of my mind, yun yung pwedeng i-monetary mo na kung maraming nagsusubscribe. And we have a policy in the university na bawal ang peddling. Okay? And because it's still your responsibility to do recording. Kasi nga, hindi na kami dito laging nagsisynchronous, may asynchronous. So, the instructions in our guidelines in the university is for the times when you are going to do asynchronous meetings, dapat may recording. Okay? Kaya ang aming mga teachers combine po yan. Nagsisynchronous, virtual, and then nag-asynchronous. And that particular material should be uploaded in their LMS. So tingnan natin kasi ang mga bata, nag-iisip din yan. So wala namang kinalaman yung kanyang subscription at kailangan pang i-check talaga yung subscription kung nag-subscribe bago bigyan ng evaluation. So sabi ko, that's not fair, that's peddling. So, but of course, sabi ko, you just try to investigate. Pero wala pa rin, hindi ako sold doon sa idea na ilalagay mo sa module mo na ilalike at saka isusubscribe. In St. Louis University, we have a lot of students. Ang aming mga freshmen, halimbawa freshmen yan, kasi 30,000 ang population namin mula sa elementary hanggang sa university, more than 30 pa nga. So yun yung mga ilang kailangang tingnan, okay? So That's I am sharing that one kasi nga ito ay paggamit online teaching. Okay, so let's just be very careful with whatever we do share. So let's just try to see to it that we're going to go back to our outcomes. What's our vision? What's our purpose? So every time we're going to ask something from our students, what's our purpose? Why do we need to prioritize that? Who is a UIC? I'm sorry for this. Who is a UIC graduate? What are the different skills, attitudes that they should demonstrate and so on. Balikan natin ang mga ito. Kasi kung minsan dahil sa busy natin, pagiging busy natin, even in the graduate school, our visiting professors, they should know. Okay, I was invited in 2 universities to facilitate some classes. And of course, I'm trying my best also kahit hindi ko mamemorya yung kanilang mga vision, mission, but at least I should know. So our visiting professors, they should know exactly what they're also sharing in their classes, and it should still be aligned to our institutional outcomes, regardless of whether it's a Catholic institution or not a Catholic institution. So importante po ang mga ito na makikita sa ating mga learning materials virtually, because we do not always do synchronous meetings like this, Zoom meeting or Zoom classes, di ba? May mga website na tayo na dinidevelop for our students and so on. So all of these program outcomes are also still, okay, you should be very familiar with what the program outcomes are in nursing, in medtech, in teacher ed. So our gen ed teachers, our teachers teaching purposive communication, indigenous people's education, yung ating mga ethics, okay, readings in Philippine history. In our university, iba-iba po ang kanilang course plan, ang kanilang course syllabus. Okay, the examples that they have there, although they are targeting the common learning outcomes, program learning outcomes, but in terms of samples, of course, it should be in the context of the program learning outcomes of the school. Okay, kaya nga there was this meeting together. I am the chair of St. Louis University ng University Instruction Development Committee, and because I am the chair, minomonitor ko din naman ang implementation ng program outcomes ng mga other programs like sabi ko nga engineering and the rest, okay, HRM, accountancy. So I tried to go over the different course syllabus of the Gen Ed courses kung talaga bang ito ay naka-align doon sa ating program learning outcomes of the degrees. And what we usually remind our teachers is to make sure to make learning meaningful. Okay, sa mga estudyante, every time we're going to give them examples, although mahirap ngayong laging kailangan specific, pero at least they will find meaning in what you are saying. If you're going to mention at least the applications of purposive communication, for example, sa civil engineering, sa mechanical engineering, sa mining engineering, electrical engineering, yung mga ganun ba? So, kailangan talaga na kahit nga nag-change ng pandemya, yung ating mga online material, nakaayon pa rin doon, okay? Actually, currently, I have this core course in the graduate school, okay? It's research, and the students in my class are coming from language education and educational management. So, I need to do matching with the activities that I do with them. Okay, so ito yung mga kailangan nating balikan po, because again, I would like to emphasize, we do not just think of a strategy without thinking kung saan ba gagamitin yung estratehiya na yan. Para saan ba yung estratehiya na yan? Thank you. Okay, thank you po. So let's try to go over our curriculum map as well. So tingnan nga natin kung ano ba ang inyong pinagagagawa sa inyong curriculum map. So ang curriculum map natin, di ba? Okay. Ang ginawa ng DepEd is to identify the most essential learning competencies. And we always follow the spiral progression, the seamless curriculum. So same is true naman with universities. Like we need to know if that particular task should be introduced first or enable or practice or demonstrate, or you just follow the IPD, di ba? I don't know what UIC is following. Dahil ang strategy na naman, online or kahit hindi online, should still be according to our map, curriculum map. Ang subject ba yan ay introductory? Parang kumbaga, technology for teaching and learning 1 and technology for teaching and learning 2. It cannot be na, that's why prerequisite yung una ng TTL2 dahil nga sa ito ay hindi niya maiintindihan hanggat hindi niya natatapos yung una. In the senior high school, I was able to read one of the posts of one of our graduates in the university. Sabi niya, sa tagal ba namang nai-implement niyang practical research 2 na yan, bakit meron itong isang professor na teacher na lagi niyang iniisip na ang practical research 2, prerequisite niya ang practical research 1. Na yung practical research 1, qualitative research, yung isa ay quantitative research. Hindi porke may 1 and 2, ay kailangan mo ng ganun yung nasa isip. So, I think reorientation with our teachers are very important from my experience, okay. So some of them are letting their students do demonstration as one of their activities in the class, when in fact that particular concept was not even introduced yet. You are asking them, the students, to do action research, but none of the courses in the lower levels ay na-introduce ang action research. And I think that's not fair to the students. So even in the graduate school, it's also good to know from our students. Kasi sometimes nag-a-assume ako na marunong na yan sa research. PhD nga eh. Yung ganun. Pero paano kung iba nga ang pinanggalingan niya, yung profile niya? Hindi na-emphasize yung difference of a formal research and action research before. Because I was able to observe that in one of the classes I had last year na graduate school, ethics. Ang pinagawa ko, action research. Bakit kaya itong ginawa ng isang estudyante ay formal research? Kaya palahirap na hirap siya. Tapos syempre sa action research, dapat may action plan, etc. Di wala siyang grade doon sa action plan and action taken. So sabi, I have to let my graduate school student redo yung kaniyang kasi nung peer evaluation, syempre kahit yung mga kaklase niya, walang in-score sa kanya. So yun, although I was able to discuss naman actually in the class what an action research is. So kung minsan, some of our students really are not really listening also. I even presented the difference in even the parts, and I even discussed the parts when in fact kung graduate school, hindi mo nga dapat i-discuss ng detalye, babasahin na lang sana nila yung mga ganun, di ba? Nakonsensya naman ako, syempre alangan namang ibagsak ko. So sabi ko, kindly redo. Okay, anyway, we still have a chance for a completion of a month. Pero ito yung mga mga prerequisite na sinasabi natin, nag-strategy ka nga, action research ang activity, hindi niya alam. Okay? So these are some of the things that we need to look into. Again, ideal yung PQF na sinasabi ng estudyante ng PhD dapat marunong na. Okay? Pero sometimes we should also learn and of course get the profile of our students. But it's a blessing that I have students also coming from DepEd, and they have this action research format in DepEd. That's why Ma'am Thelma, when Ma'am Brenda was actually telling us to share action researches done by our students, I already have a lot of action researches also done by my students in the graduate school na DepEd. So they're following also their format. Even our teacher education institutions, the format that we always follow in our teacher ed program for our pre-service is the format of DepEd, so that when they will be in DepEd, hindi sila yung nawawala. Kasi nga ang teacher ed, ang pinapagawa natin dapat sa mga estudyante natin ay kung ano yung ginagawa sa DepEd. Ganun lang naman po yun. Okay? So, importante po ang strategies na iniisip natin, contents, and many others considering. Okay? For those who are having problems with some of the sciences, courses, and then yung mga mathematics, kausapin natin yung mga nagtuturo ng mga yan. Kasi nga, ang profile ng mga yan, kaya nag-HUMS yan, kasi iniisip na niya nung nasa high school siya na ang kukunin ay psychology. So, ganun din ang engineering namin. Nung una talaga, gusto lang nilang STEM. Pero ngayon siguro nila i-implement kasi medyo educated na ang ating mga estudyante in the senior high school na hindi kumuha nung track na general ba yun? At ngayon nag-i-STEM na halos lahat. Kasi pag STEM ang kinuha mo, kahit anong degree program in the university, they are accepting. Okay, that's why in our laboratory school, nag-lessen yung section po ng HUMS. At dumami yung STEM kahit hindi sobrang magaling sa mathematics and sciences. So, you know what? These are very important, who our students are. So what will we do? Of course, in our online courses, not to think of who our students are. Kasi nga in online teaching, it will entail you to have a lot of support, student support for your students. So let us see to it that we're going to develop our course syllabus based on all of this.